The movie begins with Judy, a young woman living in a dystopian future where people escape their harsh reality by immersing themselves in a virtual reality system called Infinisynth. The ozone layer has left most of the planet a desolate wasteland, scattered with highly radioactive death zones, except for several areas that still flourish so people live as dreamers in such an environment. Dissatisfied with the artificial experiences and yearning for something genuine, she disconnects from the system, expressing her frustration with the lack of real human connection and meaningful experiences in the virtual world. After disconnecting from the system, Judy got up and started doing physical exercises. Then she sat down to listen to music. She took out a picture of her father and held it close to her chest. Her mother, who was also connected to the system, disconnected and got up. Judy approached her and her mother mistakenly called her by the wrong name. She asked Judy why she wasn't plugged in and why she was offline. Judy explained that the system wasn't working for her anymore and she was listening to her dad's music. She then started asking what happened to her father. Her mother, unaware and uninterested, said she didn't know and hadn't even asked. She told Judy to get back into the system, saying she would be fine. Then, her mother plugged herself back in. Frustrated, Judy screamed that she wanted to be awake and threw her drink against the wall. She tried to wake her mother up, but it didn't work, so she just started working out again. Meanwhile, in the virtual reality, Judy's mother saw herself in a play, singing with a man. Judy decided to plug herself back into the system to wake her mother up from within. She entered her mother's virtual environment where the audience started booing her mother. Judy approached her mother from behind, told her it was time to wake up, and pushed her. Suddenly, Judy found herself in a dark place, talking to a man with many tubes connected to his head. He told her that she had violated the system by entering other users' environments. The man, who identified himself as the system's operator, asked her what she wanted. Judy explained that she wanted something real, as they were all stuck inside their heads, making it worse than a prison. She expressed that there had to be more to life than virtual reality. The system's operator then told her that he would give her what she wanted by taking her offline. When Judy wakes up, she sees her mother with blood coming out of her nose. She touches her and realizes that she is dead. Suddenly, an alarm blares and a group of men cover Judy's head with a sheet and inject her with a sedative. When she wakes up again, she finds herself buried in the dirt. The first thing she sees is a skeleton of a crucified person. As she walks, she sees many more skeletons. She keeps walking, calling out to see if anyone is there. Someone hears her scream and she accidentally steps into quicksand and starts sinking. She screams for help. The man who heard her earlier sees others approaching through a monocular. They throw her a rope and pull her out, but then they put her in a van and tie her up, kidnapping her. The kidnappers reveal themselves to be cannibalistic mutants who can't speak. The man who was watching earlier starts shooting arrows and kills the two mutants. He approaches the truck and stops it. As he looks around to locate the fallen mutant, the mutant emerges from the water and attacks him. The man retaliates and kills the mutant. Meanwhile, Judy is trying to cut the ropes she is tied with. She manages to free herself and starts running. The man follows her and tackles her to the ground, and as she struggles, she sees his face and realizes he is human. He tells her she would die if she isn't covered. He then blows up the truck. The man took Judy to his house and introduced himself as Stover. He explained that the creatures that attacked her are called crawlers and they are cannibals. He then helped her clean off the chemicals. While doing so, he noticed the plug in her neck and realized she was an in-worlder. Stover was surprised and asked how she got there. Judy explained that she didn't know and would go back if she could. Stover said the only possible way might be past the Deadlands, but it was nearly impossible to get through due to a brain sickness that made people want to die. Stover talked bitterly, explaining that the in-worlders had poisoned the world, stripped a layer of the sky, and left, abandoning those left behind to die in the ruins. Stover gave Judy a pair of boots, and they went out to navigate the area. They came across the skeletons that looked crucified. Judy asked why the crawlers did that, and Stover explained that they didn't. He had put the body up there because it was his wife who had frozen to death. He expressed his preference for burying the dead, but mentioned that the ground wasn't safe due to the crawlers finding the bodies. Stover then noticed the picture of Judy's father in her hand and asked if it was a family photo. Judy replied that her family was dead. They went back to Stover's house, and Judy saw a Bible and picked it up. She remarked that she had never seen a real book before. Stover asked what she did in the machine, and Judy shared that she explored other planets, pretended to be a planet, rode dinosaurs, and ate at nice restaurants. However, she admitted that despite these experiences, she hadn't truly experienced much of anything. After this, they kissed and made love. As they were lying together, Stover heard a sound and told Judy to get dressed. He prepared his crossbow, ready to defend them, while Judy picked up a knife. Suddenly, a crawler burst through the wall, and Judy stabbed it. However, there were many crawlers, and they overpowered them, dragging them through a crawler hole. The crawlers shackled Stover, took things out of his pockets, and knocked him out. They then dragged Judy to a room where a woman was waiting. The woman put a collar attached to a rope around Judy's neck and pulled her up. Stover regained consciousness and saw crawlers around him. One crawler punished another by making him put his hand in a painful liquid. The Punisher noticed Stover waking and hit him. Meanwhile, Judy was cuffed and prepared for mutilation. She noticed the Infinisynth sign and told a woman to release her, saying she was from there. The woman hesitated, but a crawler pushed her. Another woman appeared, cut the crawler's ear, and scared him away. She examined Judy and instructed the first woman, Claude, to prepare. Judy asked about Stover and their plans for her. The second woman, Cornelia, envied Judy seeing the sky and lamented their inability to have children. She suspected Judy, an outworlder, might carry a disease. Judy claimed she came from Infinisynth to save them. Cornelia, pulling Judy's hair, acknowledged this changed things. Cornelia returned with a syringe, taunting Judy that she wouldn't be pretty anymore. As Cornelia was about to inject her, Judy knocked the syringe out of her hand, causing it to break. More crawlers arrived, and Cornelia pointed out one with his hands amputated, saying he was no longer useful. Stover, working with other crawlers, found a knife in the mud and hid it. Meanwhile, Judy tries to convince Claude to free her, promising to take her to become a dreamer. Stover launched an attack, slitting a crawler's throat and freeing himself. Claude untied Judy, but as they were about to escape, crawlers caught them. Stover called out for Judy, but couldn't find her. The injured crawler was about to be killed when Stover entered the room and attacked the crawlers. In the fight, Stover was overpowered, but he managed to dodge a slash, causing the crawler to accidentally kill another of his kind behind him. Judy was taken to a room where a man was giving instructions. When he saw Judy, he approached her. Judy declared herself a dreamer and demanded her release, warning that if they didn't, they would never be part of the dream and would suffer greatly. The man mocked her, saying no one there had ever suffered, and dismissing her as foolish. He asked about life back home. He explained that being part of this was the only option, likening it to the only game in town where he was the game master. He suggested Judy had overstepped her bounds and needed to atone. He ordered that Claude be prepared to rise and enter the dream as penance for Judy's actions. As they were watching, Claude was killed and placed in a machine that ground her body. Cornelia sobbed at the sight. Everyone was given Claude's blood to drink, and the man gave a speech about being reborn as dreamers. Cornelia forced Judy to drink the blood. The man ordered Judy to be brought to him, and as they dragged her away, Stover, disguised as a crawler, attacked but was quickly overpowered and taken away. The man also took Judy away, and during the struggle she pulled off his mask, revealing it was her father. He explained he had been exiled and taken in by the crawlers, who had never seen an expansion port before. Meanwhile, Stover is thrown into a half-submerged cage and attacked by mutant leeches. Judy calls her father a monster, but he claims he gave the crawlers life by giving them something to believe in. She notes they don't seem happy, and he admits to using both rewards and punishments. He explains the need for skilled labor, and that sacrifices are necessary for the greater good. Judy spots Stover, barely conscious, and cries out, asking what her father has done to him. He explains the leeches' life cycle, detailing how they lay eggs inside the host and feed on nervous tissue. Desperate, Judy begs her father to release Stover and get him out. Judy ran away and entered a room. She heard a child crying and found a pregnant woman in cuffs, with the baby visibly moving inside her. Shocked, Judy walked away and saw a crying baby. At that moment, her father appeared. Judy called him a monster. He explained that the crawlers, like mules, couldn't breed successfully. He told Judy they still had a chance and offered her a choice: rule beside him and bear his children, or remain like the captive woman. Cornelia suddenly appeared and stabbed Judy's father. Judy used the opportunity to run. Her father, wounded but enraged, managed to hang on to Cornelia and shoved her away, killing her. Judy went to Stover and managed to get him out of the cage, but he was barely conscious. She removed the leeches from his neck as he began to wake up. Her father arrived and took her away, deciding to punish her. He prepared to stab her and put her in the grinder. She struggled, and although he pushed her, her clothes got stuck, preventing her from reaching the blades. Stover arrived and started fighting her father. Judy escaped the grinder, and Stover punched her father, causing him to fall into the grinding machine. The crawlers immediately started drinking his blood. Stover went to Judy, and she hugged him. The crawlers made him their leader. He put a mask over Judy's head and made her drink the blood. When Judy suggested they leave, Stover insisted they belonged there. Shocked, Judy freed herself and ran, with Stover following. Near the Deadlands, he begged her not to go, but she kept running. His pleas intensified and she returned. When they stopped to talk, Stover, infected by the leeches, suddenly vomited larvae onto her. Judy then woke up back in Inworld, realizing it was all an Infinisynth simulation. Her father, the Infinisynth system operator, confronted her, revealing he wanted to hand the position down to her. He explained that he had always been with her, and now she was to run Infinisynth, absorbing all the dreams and fantasies of the minds online. Though initially frightening, he assured her it would become everything. The movie concludes with Judy walking to where her father is and plugging in the tubes. A bright light emerged, and she woke up again in her old room. Turning to look, she saw her mother next to her, alive and dreaming.